Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing great today. It's another amazing evening. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Just trying to kind of follow up with the technical issues here, adapting to them every day on a daily basis. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining me from. If you could please share with us in the comments. I would like to know where you're joining from, where you're listening from, where you're watching this live from today. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Accept greetings from me. Greetings from me. You're loved, your time is cherished, and I am so excited. I am delighted to have you connected today. If you can hear me, please leave a thumbs up, leave a like, leave a heart. Let us know where you're watching from. Where are you watching us from? Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Accept greetings from us. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So, today we would be talking about key number two, which is finding your purpose. You must be able to know what your purpose is if you want 2024 to be a successful year. If you want 2024 to be a remarkable year, you must be able to know exactly what your purpose is. So, if you're excited, please write in the comments, I am excited. If you are excited as I am to bring this topic today, write in the comments, I am excited. I want to see some interactions. I want to know people can hear me. I want to know people are following up. I want to know that I'm audible enough and that people can actually hear what I am saying. So, today we will be talking about purpose. If you can type purpose, you can type I am excited. You can share with us where you're watching us from. Then we are ready to go. So, last week we were sharing about self awareness, knowing yourself. We talked about self awareness being recognizing and understanding what your feelings, your emotions, your passions, your likes, your dislikes are. So, if you want to be a self sufficient person, you want to live a fulfilling life, you must be self aware. You must know who you are. And today, in that same light, we would be talking about purpose. So, if you're excited, please write in the chat. I am excited. I am ready to learn about my purpose. Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you. I truly appreciate you every day, every time. Thanks for joining me today. So, today we will be talking about purpose. If you're joining me for the first time, it is my pleasure. I am Annabelle Lola. I do not take your time for granted. I truly appreciate you. I am Annabelle Lola. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am founder of Bezatelli, which I started in order to provide beautiful, stylish sportswear for women in order to help them to be more confident, because I realized that after the birth of my son, I was losing my self-esteem. But then when I started to exercise, I could feel more confident. I could feel better, but I couldn't find the best gear that suited me. So I decided to create Bezatelli. If you're here today, you haven't tried our gear, make sure to check out our social media pages. In the next few weeks, our website should be up and running again. So thank you so much for your trust. Thank you for your time. We truly appreciate you for all your dedication and love towards our brand. We are so, so grateful. I am also the founder of Building Bridges with Annabelle, which is a platform that I started in order to encourage women and young people to find what their purpose is and live fulfilling lives. So, welcome once more. Before we get started, I would like to see if anyone actually learned something from last week. Would you just write one key takeaway that you got from last week's training or last week's teaching? So, last week we learned about self awareness. What was one thing you took home with you, which has been like your guide throughout the week, that you have been able to improve? Because it's not about coming to to learn every day or to take notes every day. It's about putting these things into practice. It's about how do we put them into perspective to make our lives more fulfilling, to make our days more accomplished. So today we would be sharing about purpose, and we would start by defining what purpose is. And according to the Oxford Dictionary, purpose is the reason why something is created. Imagine that we all have our phones. Some people have different brands, but do we ever ask ourselves what's the purpose of this phone? Yes, most of us will say it is to make calls, it is to reach out to our friends, it is to be able to chat with other people. But have we ever thought of it? What was the intent of the person that manufactured this phone? Whatever brand you may be using, have you ever thought that what was the intent of the manufacturer when he was conceiving that phone? What did he intend the phone to be for? It could have been to make calls, quite all right. But we all know that we never use our phones to its full capacity. So today we would be talking about a few ways that we can dig deep into ourselves to know how to work in full capacity. Because if you know who you are, if you know what your purpose is, then you can be able to function in your full capacity. So as human beings, when God, our maker, created us, or when he made us, he gave us a purpose. And our assignment on earth is to be able to find what that assignment is to be able to know what that mission on earth is. And most times when we are unable to know what that mission, what that assignment, or what our calling is on earth, we live very unhappy lives. So if you know what your purpose is, I would like you to write in the chat, I know my purpose. And I would like you to share with us in the comments. If you want to join me on stage, I'll be delighted to share the link with you so you can share with us your experience, you can share with us your own knowledge. So, like I was saying, most times when we are unable to know what our reason for being on earth is, we live frustrated lives. We live unfulfilled lives. We wake up in the morning and then we know that we have to go to our job, yet we are so sad. We are so frustrated about it simply because we don't find fulfillment in our jobs. So, if you ever thought that you are an accident on earth, today I want to assure you that no human being is an accident. Imagine that there is one of these great mentors who always says that if out of the millions or the thousands of sperms that could fertilize an egg, you were that special sperm, or you were that special egg that was fertilized, it means you have a lot to offer. And in the Bible, the Bible tells us that before we were formed in our mother's womb, God set us apart. So he gave us a solution that we need to bring on earth. And that solution that we need to bring on earth is the reason why we are on earth. It is our purpose. And so I would like us to know a few reasons why it is important to know your purpose before we go into talking about purpose into more details. So, the first and most important thing is that purpose will make you live a fulfilling life. Why will you live a fulfilling life? Because you know exactly what you want. You know the people you're helping. You know how you're able to help them, and it brings you fulfillment because you wake up every morning with that anxiety. You wake up every morning with that desire to be more, to do more, to give more. And so when you wake up in the morning, regardless of if you didn't have as much sleep, you're still energized, you're ready to go. The second thing is, when you find your purpose, you get clarity and direction. So please, if you haven't liked or shared, please make sure to like and share so that we get more people watching this video. because what we are going to share today is very, very important for us. So, like I said, the second thing is that when you know your purpose, you have clarity and direction. Imagine that you know exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, with who to do it. That's because you have clarity. You know exactly, your goals are well established, your goals are well set. You know when to do what, how to do it, with who, and how much time. But one thing when we find our purpose is that time isn't very much a constraint, because regardless of how much time we put into doing that thing, we are still excited. We are always excited, we are always energized. So, purpose gives us clarity and direction. The third thing is that purpose gives us focus. When you know your purpose, when you grow to the point that you know exactly why you're on earth, you realize that you're more focused, you're more motivated. You no longer just wander aimlessly on social media. I'm sorry to always pick on social media, because social media is one of those things that's distracting us most nowadays. When we wake up, we realize there is a new social media channel that has been invented or created, a new app that is out, and then you want to be the first to check it out. You want to be the one to invite your friends. We have all the very popular social medias, like the one we are doing this live on. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. These are very popular social media channels. We have always been there, and most of us spend not less than 3 hours on a daily basis on these social media channels. But you realize that when you discover what your purpose is, unless your purpose is tied with the social media, then you would realize that you're spending less and less time on social media, because you know you have a focus. You know exactly what you're going to attain in any specific social media channel you're following or that you're watching. You know the people that you're watching. Maybe you go on that social media channel in order to learn from other coaches or other mentors, then that's a great thing. But if you're just aimlessly scrolling through there, then it's a problem. But once you know what your purpose is, you would direct your searches more towards what your purpose is. The next thing is, when we know our purpose, it pulls us through challenges. No matter how challenging your circumstances may be, no matter how difficult things may be with you, you always find that time, you always find that desire, you always find that courage to go and do what you want to do, because it energizes you, it just gives you passion, it just makes you excited. So regardless of how hard, no matter the hardships you may be going through, you're still always filled with that same energy to do what you love. Then another thing is that sorry, I talked about social media so much that I'm getting myself mixed up. Another thing is that purpose gives us enthusiasm. It makes us zealous. It makes us want to go beyond being mediocre. Just imagine that you know what you want to do, you know what you want to achieve, you know the impact you want to make. You're just filled with that enthusiasm. You just want to go get it done. You just want to do it all the time, because that has become part and parcel of you. When people see you, they just see that fire burning in you. So those are a few points that I want to share with us about why it is important to know your purpose. It gives you enthusiasm, it gives you clarity, it gives you more focus, it makes you fulfilled, and it makes you go beyond your challenges. Now, let's kind of dig into discovering our purpose. I'm going to share with us two methods. I'm going to share these methods because I read about them. and I found them very, very easy. So I think it would be great if you can adopt it. It will be also great if you can kind of take down notes to remember what we said, or you can always go through this video. I have it up on YouTube and on my Facebook page as well. So the first method that I want to share with us is the cross method. If you look at the sign of the cross, then you would know like how simple the sign of the cross is how simple this method is. The first thing is you look up to God. So the cross goes up and then down and then sideways. So the first thing is you look up to God. God is your manufacturer. Always turn to him. Regardless of, our moms carried us in their wombs for 9 months, but God formed us in our mom's wombs. So God is that person that we would always turn to when we want to know our purpose, because he made us, he knows why we are here. So always look up to God, ask him in prayer, in fasting, what is my purpose on earth? You can seek spiritual guidance from someone that you trust. Ask them to guide you through this process. The second thing is to look inwards. When you look inwards, they say the way we are designed actually kind of defines what our purpose is. You would see someone who is naturally compassionate, or someone who naturally gives, someone who is naturally caring. You realize that they do that so effortlessly. So when you look inwards, it's that time of reflection. You take that introspection into yourself to ask yourself, what are my talents? Am I a creative person? Am I great at communicating? Am I a good writer? Am I good at painting? What are my strengths? Am I great with attention to details? Am I a good listener? Do I adapt easily? Am I a very honest person? You look at your values. What are those values that you have? Is it family? Is it friendship? Is it maybe you're a very compassionate person, like I said earlier? Are you a very authentic person? What fascinates you? Are you fascinated about fitness, about health, about volunteering, about coaching, about dancing? What are those passions that you have? When you look at yourself inwards, what are those things that you can actually do for hours without really feeling that I am working? You might do it for several hours, but you don't get tired. You don't mind if you don't get paid for it. Some of us do volunteering because we are passionate about it. Some of us do it to get work experience. But one thing is for sure, if you don't like that specific volunteering, you won't be going towards it. So ask yourself, what are those things that I can do for free? Then once you know those things, it's already a good sign that is leading you towards knowing what your purpose is. Know that your passion will always give you energy. Passion sets you aside or away from the crowd. It distinguishes you from the others. Imagine the way when you're passionate, maybe you're a passionate baker. Imagine the way you're doing your work with so much passion, with so much anxiety, with so much determination. It makes you obviously different from someone who is just doing it for pleasure, or someone who is doing it just to spend time. The third thing is you want to look downwards. When I talk about downwards here, it means looking at, paying attention to your emotions. Here we would look more the negative emotions. What are your frustrations? What are those things that make you angry? For example, it could be seeing maybe children in the streets. It could be seeing people go homeless every day. It could be seeing people very hungry, like people are hungry in the streets, and then you want to kind of get into politics, or you want to kind of bring in some policies that will make sure that every single person has a meal at his table or has something somewhere to lay his head. So ask yourself, what are those frustrations? What are those things in the society that irritate me so bad? Sometimes it could just be as easy as traffic in your town, and then you start asking yourself, how can I solve this problem? Maybe you want to be a great architect to construct flyovers from wherever to wherever. You want to just bring in a new city plan. So, what are those things that when you look around, it could be just in your little community? Maybe there is no potable water in your community and you want to bring a solution to that. Your passion could be, or your frustrations, it could be very little things. You might actually neglect them, but you don't know how much impact that has on someone's life. So, ask yourself, what is it that frustrates me? What are those things that I am passionate about? Once you know what you're passionate about, once you know what energizes you, once you know what your gifts, your talents, your skills are, once you know what irritates you, then you'll be able to know what your purpose is. Another thing is to pay attention to the dark moments of your life. Maybe you're going through a really hard time, or you have just lost someone, or maybe you were maybe without a child, you were barren for many years, and then now you have a child. You are the best person, because you are the best person to coach other women or to speak to other women about what it is like to be patient um, towards having a child, or be patient, to build that patience when they're still hoping and trusting God for a child. So in those difficult moments, always look up to God. Like, when you look at your frustrations, you look at the mess you have been through in your life, you never know that that mess could become your message. You're looking at it from the point today of, maybe this was the tough, or this was the most dirty thing, or this was the most silly thing I ever did in my life. But you don't know that that could be the message that you have to impact others with in their own lives. So take time to think about your frustrations, the dark moments of your lives. Take time to think about your passions, your talents, your skills, and also your gifts. What are those natural gifts that you have? Finally, the fourth thing for the cross method is to look for feedback. That is, you're looking around, look at the sites, look at everyone around you. What are they appreciating you for? What do they give you comments for? What are those things that people always say, oh, you got wisdom for this? What are those things that people come to you because they feel like you have an experience? They feel like you've got so much knowledge, you've got a bank of knowledge that they want to share from. What are those things that when maybe you put up a post, you sometimes do reels and you share knowledge with people? What are some of those posts that people would appreciate you for? Do they say that this topic you were very good at? Or what are some of those experiences that you've had in life that people gave you feedback for? Oh, you did well when this happened in your life. These are all ways that, if you have time to meditate, if you have time to ask yourself the real questions, then write them down. See how often you do. For example, if you love writing, maybe you spend all your time writing, you spend most of your time actually writing, but you're still wondering what your purpose is. Ask yourself, will I still continue to write if I'm not being paid for it? Will I still continue to write if, even if no one actually gives a like on my post? Because sometimes you might put up a post and maybe it doesn't do as well as the others did, and then you start getting discouraged. Will you get discouraged because people aren't actually paying attention to your content, or will you keep on going to perfect those skills? So Ask yourself questions. What are those things that even if others are sleeping, I am still willing and available to work on? It could be with people, it could be first on your own because you want to perfect that, or you want to ameliorate. I won't say perfect because we are always a work in progress. What are those things that you can just scrap your sleep to keep doing? What are those things that impact people's lives with on a daily basis? Think about it. Take your time and write it down, journal. Take your time to write what those things are. And if you still can't get it, drop me a message or reach out to someone that you trust that can guide you. The second method I want us to look at is also a very simple method. I'll call it the SHAPE method because we are going to be looking at the acronym SHAPE, SHAPE. The first one is your spiritual gifts. What are those spiritual gifts that you have? Maybe you have the gift of healing, you have the gift of discernment, you have wisdom, or you have the gift of giving. Some of us are very good at giving. Some of us find it hard even just liking someone's post. Some of us are just so nice that whether the post interests them or not, they just give a like and even possibly give a comment. Maybe you are great at, oh, your intuition is so strong that you can easily discern things very fast. Or you have great wisdom in specific topics. So ask yourself, what gifts excite me most, or what gifts am I most passionate about? Because when you ask yourself, sometimes we have loads of gifts that we get into confusion. We don't know which one is the right one for us. That's why I always say turn on to God and ask him for guidance, or always ask someone that is close to you that you trust for guidance as well. They can guide you through, they can ask you further in-depth questions to help you figure out what exactly it is that is your purpose. Now, the second thing is the H stands for heart. What motivates you? What's that thing that you could do for hours, like I said earlier, without getting tired? You can actually keep doing no matter whether they're paying you, they're not paying you, even if you're not being appreciated. And let's note this, that you will do certain things and not even get appreciation for it. But the essence is not the appreciation, the essence is how much you feel when you get that done and the impact that you know you're making. So, what change do you want to see in the world? Ask yourself that question. I, as a human being, I, as Annabelle, what is that one change that I want to see in the world? Is it that I want to stop seeing child abuse? Or I want to help people improve their relationships? What is one thing you want to see change in the world? I want to see some interaction. Are you feeling this session? Are you picking up anything? Please let us know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. I would like to see your comments come true, just so I know that you're actually getting a bit of knowledge out of what I am sharing. So, what are those needs or what are those causes that you care about? We've talked about the homeless people. Maybe you care so much about homeless people because maybe when you were younger, you were homeless. Or maybe you care about widows because you grew up seeing your mom as a widow. What can you do for other widows? So ask yourself, take that time to think, what's one thing that I want to see in the world? What's one thing that I want to be able to change? What group of people do I care most about? Is it people with disability? Is it young children? Is it even babies? Maybe you want to be a nurse and you can find your purpose being a nurse by the way you care for your patients. Ask yourself these questions. What are the dreams? What are some dreams that I have? Whenever I lie down, I think that I could bring a change to this. I could make an impact in this light. I want to impact people with disability. I want to create an NGO for people with disability, so that people with disability would know that they are being loved, they are being cared for, and then they would be able, because they know that people trust them, because they know that people love them, because they know that people have confidence in them, they will be able to live in their own full potential. They'll have that confidence to go out and work. They'll have that confidence to go out and explore the world. What is your impact that you want to make? What is your purpose? What is one change that you want to bring? It could be even in the life of a friend. It doesn't have to be in the life of massive number of people. What is one thing you want to bring a change to? A stands for abilities. What am I good at? You might be very good at singing. You might be very good at cooking. You might be good at caring for people. You might be a very generous person. Like, just ask yourself, what am I really good at? What am I really good at? I'm good at painting. I'm good at writing. I'm good at storytelling. I'm a good speaker. Then, once you know this, ask yourself, okay, I'm a good speaker. What can I do with it? What area do I want to speak in? What area do I want to make impact in? Then you start researching about that topic. Then you start speaking. You could start doing some lives like the one I'm doing. You could meet with a group of people and talk to them about what your passion is. It starts from one person. It starts from one person. That impact you make in their lives will never be the same. And then they will bring more people to you. So ask yourself, what am I really good at? What are my skills? Why do I choose this set of skills rather than the others? Is it because I'm really good at these ones, or is it because I really love these ones? What do I enjoy doing most? In your free time, what will you say that you love doing? Is it browsing over the internet? It could be browsing over the internet. But then, how do you find purpose in browsing over the internet? Maybe you're helping someone's business grow over the internet. That's another way of making money. And that's you finding happiness in something that you love doing. Who can I help with my abilities? I know how to sing. Who are those people who love music? Do I want to go to a choir in church? Do I want to join a music band? Or who can I help? Who are those people that need the abilities that I have? Where can I find them? You have to position yourself in those places. You don't have to be the best. I keep saying this. You don't have to be the best to position yourself in that place. You just have to start. You have to get started. Once you give interest, you'd see that the resources will come on its own. So, who are the people that I want to help with my abilities? Then P stands for personality. What does your personality, where does your personality best suit you to serve? Some of us have a very introverted personality. Where do you think with your introverted uh, personality you're best suited to serve? Is it to serve in a hospital setting? Is it to serve in an educational setting? Where do you think you're best suited to serve? Or if you are an extroverted person, where do you think you're best suited to serve? Are you people oriented? How do people respond to you? Do people see you as someone that they can potentially follow, or are you a solo team player? Because we have to also know this. Sometimes you just don't want people in your space, and You want to be on your own, it's okay too. But who are the people that you want to serve? Are they people who want to work with a solo player, or do they want someone that can be a potential leader, or someone who has been a follower to other leaders before? What is it that you have that resonates with other people? We have spoken here about your experience. What are some of those experiences that you have had in your life that you want to share with people so that they can easily resonate or associate with you? How do you respond to opportunities? When opportunities present themselves, how do you respond? Are you excited about them, or do you just say, okay, well, it could happen to anybody? So ask yourself questions. My personality, who am I best suited to serve? Who can I serve? How can I serve them? Where and why? What do I have to offer them? Once you ask yourself these questions, you're already on a very good foot, because you would be able, just with a little bit of guidance, to know this is exactly what I want to do with my life. And then you won't be going to work frustrated anymore. You won't be going to work like, oh my God, I wish today wasn't Monday. Every time you go to your job frustrated, ask yourself, I might not really like this job, but what can I learn from it? Always learn something from whatever you're doing. It should be a place where you learn something, because if you're frustrated and you can't learn anything from it, then you would almost be getting depressed every day when you go to your job. So make sure that if you're not living your purpose at your job site, you're learning something that will lead you to your purpose. Then for the E, we have experiences. In your personal life, what are some of the experiences that have shaped you? For example, maybe you had an accident that has kind of changed your life. Maybe you stayed on a wheelchair for for a number of years, or you lost some functionality of some part of your skin, or whatever. What are some of those life experiences? Maybe you have been through a divorce and you want to share with other people. You want to share with them what your experience was, what you went through, and how they can avoid that. In your career, I know I've reached out to a couple of people. Would you come and share with us what you think is beneficial in your career? How can people access it? And why should people access it? So, in your career, what are some experiences you want to share with people? In your relationships, maybe you want to be a parenting coach. You want to share to all with parents. How do they take care of their children? How do they help their children to grow up to be responsible citizens of the world? Maybe some spiritual experiences that you've had and you want to share with others, or educational experiences. Maybe you were discriminated in school for some reason, and then you want to be able to share that, or you want to change that narrative for other people. So we have talked about shape. Shape stands for spiritual gifts, your heart, your abilities, your personality, and then your experiences. So we've looked at two methods of discovering your purpose. The first one, we looked at the cross. First, you look up to God, then you look inwards. What are those things that fascinate me? What are my gifts and my talents? Then you look downwards. What are those things that frustrate me? What are those things that I am really willing to bring a change to? And then you look sideways for feedback around you. What do people appreciate you for? Then we have looked at the shape. S for spiritual gift, H for heart. Look into your heart, your spiritual gifts. What are those natural gifts you have? your heart, what motivates you, then your abilities. What are those things that I can easily do? What are those things I do effortlessly? Your personality, and then your experiences. So now let's look at a few obstacles to finding our purpose. The first one, which is the most important one, is fear. We are always scared of everything. And I want to assure you that if you are not scared, sometimes you might not be able to get things done. So sometimes some people say do it afraid. And I totally agree with that. Because if you're not scared, you won't be pushed to take that original step. So do it afraid. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles for finding our purpose, because we are afraid that people will reject us. We are afraid that we don't know enough. We are afraid that people would say, "Who does he or she think he is?" Then you're scared to move. But like we all know, courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So do it afraid. Keep going regardless. Because if you want to keep thinking that what will people say, oh, do I have enough information, do I have enough knowledge, you might never get it done. You will keep postponing, and then you start procrastinating. You live in that cycle where today you're starting and you're not starting. So just do it afraid. Just keep start, and then you would build yourself from there. The second thing is limiting beliefs. Oh, what if I fail? What if people think that I don't know enough? What if people think I'm not good enough? Do I even deserve to be happy? Do I even deserve to be sharing this with people? Do I deserve to be doing this? Those limiting beliefs keep tormenting us, and then it makes us not to go forward towards accomplishing our purpose. So the two things I would say is do it afraid, forget about what people will say, forget about being perfect, start, and then you grow from there. So that was my sharing for you today. My aim was to share with you two simple methods of how to find your purpose, and then the obstacles to finding our purpose. Like we said, purpose is the intent why something is created. Why were you created? Why are you here on earth? You're on earth for a reason. You might be finding your purpose at your job. You might be finding your purpose in your home as a family. But make sure that you are living your purpose. Finding your purpose is great, but to live a fulfilled life, you must live your purpose. And living your purpose is giving it to others, sharing it with others. If you're sharing your purpose, if you're sharing whatever you reason you are on earth with others, then you would be a fulfilled person. So for the key takeaways of this session, take time to reflect. Consider what brings you joy. What are those things that bring you joy? What are those things that make sense to you or have a sense of meaning? What are those things that genuinely excite or inspire you? Once you write those things down, filter them. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself, why does this excite me? Why do I feel happy when I do this? Why is this my favorite passion? Why do I have this as my value? As you filter them down, you'll come to one solid reason why you really want to do whatever you want to do, why your purpose is to maybe help people struggling with help parents with kids with disability. The second thing is to identify your strength. Once you know what your strengths, your talents, your skills, your passions, your values are, keep filtering them down, because one thing is for sure, your skills, your values, your passions will always kind of um what's the right word to use? They will always kind of mix or draw, like they will always have that point where they meet. Good. They'll always have that point where they meet. So once you know what your skills your talents, your values are, then you're in a good place to already know what your purpose is. Then finally, explore your personal experiences, because most times what our purpose is something that we have either experienced in our past or we have heard about from people. But the most one that you would work in your full potential is that one which you experience yourself. So pay attention to those situations in your life that shaped your life. What are those things that you learned from them? What are those lessons that you thought you might never outgrow them, but you actually did outgrow them? That's the click. That's when you get that that that's when you know exactly that, oh, this is the reason why I am here on earth. Oh, this is what I need to share with people. This is what people need to hear from me. It could be, like I said, one person. It could be your community, your local area. It doesn't have to be the world before you know you're making an impact. So look at your experiences, look at your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, your skills, your talents, and then take that moment of reflection. Why do I feel excited when I do this? Why do I have a sense of meaning when I help people, when I sing for people, when I write for people, when I read for people? For some people, their purpose is reading. You go to libraries here, people come every day just to read for kids, to read for older adults. So ask yourself, why is it that I feel so excited when I read for people, or when I write for people, or when I do what I am doing? So that was it for me today. If you did learn something, if you have a question, please share with us in the chat. I'll be delighted to answer your question. Learning a lot about what drives most. I think I have a special soft spot for children, seeing children super happy. That's great. So you might ask yourself now, okay, why do I want to see children super happy? And how can I help children to be super happy? Do you want to create maybe an amusement park where children come and play for free, or rather than paying very exorbitant rates, they might pay a very small rate to play in your park? So ask yourself, how specifically do I want to make children super happy? And when you talk about children, you could try to narrow it further down. Is it children within the age of 5 to 10? Is it children within the age of 10 to 15, like getting into their teenage ages? Or is it really tender children from the age of 0 to 5? So, know exactly the age range, why you want to see them super happy, and how you want to see them super happy. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I hope you did get value. If you want to share with me in the comments what your key takeaways are. Have you discovered your purpose? Maybe as we were sharing, you did think, or you did get kind of a flash that, oh, this could be my purpose. I've been wondering all this while if this is my purpose, but now I am more than convinced that this is my purpose. So share with us if you learned something, if you think you found your purpose through this session. If you're watching the replay, please make sure to drop in a comment for us, and we would always be delighted to answer to your preoccupations. Thank you so much once more for joining me again. I appreciate your time. I do not take it for granted. That's why I make sure that I try to bring as much value as I can. I'm still in the learning process myself, but I hope that you did get value from this session. Thanks. Make sure to share with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe on our channels. And on Facebook, add it as a favorite so that you'll be notified when we are live. On YouTube, please make sure to subscribe so that you get notifications when we go live. So I'll give it 30 seconds to see if anyone comes up with a question or with a comment. Then I'll be delighted to bring an answer to that. Bonsoir, bonsoir, ma chère Denise. Bonsoir. So I hope you did get value. I am so happy. I'm always excited to do this, but I hope that it's not going, um, it's not falling on the horse's back. Like it's not just going away. I hope when we have these sessions, you take the time to kind of reflect on them and then make resolutions, make changes to your life, because if not, it won't be beneficial to you just coming to listen to me rant every day. If you kind of take time to reflect and then put it into perspective, make changes, you would see improvements in your life. That said, I think there is no question for me today. I'll be looking out for the comments. If anyone has a question, you can always drop them in the comments and I'll be delighted to answer. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now. Good evening to my own daddy. Good evening. Bye bye.